talking basketball. They're fucking dumb as shit. They talk about basketball, but they will make dumb ass jokes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pod Don't Lie with Sam and Stav. We are here with you today, a couple days before the trade deadline. Some horrible injuries. Also lost an all-time NBA great. A lot of stuff going on here in the NBA. How you doing, Big Sammy?
I'm bummed about Elgin Baylor, man. One of the greats ever. So tough loss for Laker Nation, man.
R.I.P. Elgin Baylor. We've talked about him, actually. He's come up quite a bit. We've already talked, on the pod, we've talked about how wild it was that he was like averaging like 50 fucking points when he was in the army during the weeks. He would get his fucking weekends off to play NBA basketball, and he was just absolutely fucking dudes up.
I think like Vincent D'Onofrio in Full Metal Jacket, he's like, I'm going to kill myself. But Elgin Baylor's like, I'm going to drop fucking 50 on Saturday and Sunday. It's insane.
Yeah, I'm going to make Bob Cousy look like the fucking accountant that he is. I'm going to terrorize the fucking Kansas City Royals or whatever the fuck the teams were called back then. he played. He did play.
We're just saying baseball teams. The Milwaukee Brewers in the 60s.
I want to say the Royals were also a fucking basketball team, but I
think so.
Absolutely wrong about that.
Well, this is what to go off what you're saying. Jason Concepcion tweeted in 61-62. Elgin Baylor averaged 38 points, 19 rebounds, and 5 assists while on active duty with the Army, playing with the Lakers on weekends. And he writes, the best player who never won a chip. He missed it by 1 year. And
he missed it by 1 year, and we've talked about it. It sucks. LA wins it when he's at the end of his career, and he did not want to come off the bench. He didn't want to be a sixth man. And also
his last 2 years, his knee was like
he was injured, but he didn't want to. And I think part of the problem was that the coach that eventually did take the Lakers to a chip against the Celtics was a former Celtics player. So it's like this guy, imagine this guy who you used to bust his ass, but his team would beat you because he had fucking Bill Russell.
Everyone. They had everyone. It was Havlicek, Cousy. I mean, they were stacked.
Okay, let's chill with Cousy. We could beat Cousy one-on-one.
I feel like I could beat him one-on-one. I feel like I have size on him. I think if I took him to the post, my bank shot would go in.
Yeah, I'm just going to devastate Bob. Listen, Bob Cousy steps into a Stavros Halkias screen on a fast break. He's done. Let's put it that way, okay? I'm playing fucking dirty. I'm going to fuck that guy up. I dare him to try and get a charge. I'm not going to make the bucket, but I'm going to fuck his ass up. I'll tell you that much. In his fucking Converses.
I believe he was also a DC guy, Baylor as well.
So obviously so cool. You look at he's one of the first players when you see these like black and white highlights. He's literally maybe the first guy where you're like, oh, that's what the NBA looks like now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Other than big guys, like, so again, Russell, certain times, like obviously the old.
Oh, Russell and Chamberlain for sure. But then you see like,
but they're doing like post moves. But the first guy, when you look at black and white footage where it doesn't look like he's dribbling, you know what it looks like? They're just dribbling with one hand far as shit out in front of them, just up and down, like no fucking, no side to side. You look at Elgin Baylor and it's like, oh, that guy, except for his Nat King Cole hair, looks like he came from 2020. You know what I mean?
That reverse, the hang time on that reverse is stupid.
That must have blown people's fucking minds when they saw him do a reverse layup when it's literally just set shot, bank shots, like they're playing around the world every other player. So
that's really what the NBA was. It was like dudes who could hang in the air and then dudes who just got good shooting on like a bucket on a farm, you know?
Yes, 100%. So yeah, just a really cool player, had great hair for his whole life. Like we talked about that.
Incredible.
You see him with the Nat King Cole doing reverse layups, an insane look. And then you see him when he's the like executive of the Clippers with like a fro / Jerry curl, like was just awesome. And then at his inductions or his statue ceremony with the Lakers, where he just has that awesome. He's like old as fuck, just a fro with a fucking hairline down to his eyebrows. The man was blessed. Didn't get a chip. He got to keep his hair, which again, that's Jordan,
Mixed blessing.
Jordan, Shaq, LeBron, Durant.
It takes a toll.
These guys, their hairlines are fucking brutal. Elgin Baylor was coming through with the fucking combination Afro Jerry curl well into his 80s. So salute to him. And a big RIP.
RIP to the great Elgin Baylor. It gave me chills to hear Kobe just talk about his reverence for Elgin Baylor. It's just, it's something I miss about Kobe was his obsession with basketball history, and
Right.
that was pretty cool, man. But shit.
Yeah.
NBA, man. You watch those clips and you're like, man, basketball is just the fucking best. You're just watching these clips like it's been the best for so long.
Totally. It must feel cool to have been a fucking fan in the 60s when it's just like, you're like, this game is better than bitch ass baseball. When the whole world is like creaming they're like, oh my God, fucking, oh, are they going to break fucking Babe Ruth's record? Who gives a fuck? And it's like, and then you're just some guy in a little ass gym. You're watching these insane athletes seeing Elgin Baylor. You must have really felt like you were onto something being a basketball player.
Oh, dude.
Oh, this game is so much better than fucking baseball. But
they're like, let's watch baseball. You're like, all right, strike.
yeah,
That's a ball outside.
taking a
You watch
cigarette
Elgin
break.
Baylor
Yeah, it's like,
fucking doing razzle dazzle. You're like, this is crazy. Yeah, man.
fuck Joe DiMaggio. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, all right, let's not get carried away. The Clipper was fucking cool. You're gonna if you're gonna shit on a baseball player, maybe don't bang a guy who banged Marilyn Monroe, man.
Okay. So did the guy who wrote fucking Death of a Salesman. You know what I mean? Are you a big Arthur Miller fan too?
Yeah, it's a fucking good play. We're gonna shit on Death of a Salesman. And so did Sinatra. She was in pretty good. She had decent taste, I think. And she got people who were like the best of every field. So
yeah, you know what? The way you're putting it, I'm a Marilyn Monroe fan. She got all the best dick. She was using them as far as I'm concerned. She was getting some playwright dick. She was getting some baseball dick. She was getting some fucking Cuban Missile Crisis dick over at the Kennedy compound. I fucking salute to Marilyn Monroe, not these fucking little sluts that she was sucking off to get her collection, her varied nut collection. So salute to, you know what? Fuck Joe DiMaggio. Salute to Marilyn Monroe.
No. Respect Joe DiMaggio. We like that. We know he had anger problems and he might have raised his fist, which we don't condone, but he was the Yankee Clipper, and no one will ever beat that streak, baby. No one will beat that 56 game.
In your support of him, you're brushing domestic abuse under the rug. So I stand by what I said. Salute to Elgin Baylor and Marilyn Monroe.
Yes.
So anyway, we wanted to mention that up top, but some other unfortunate, obviously nothing on the level of a legend passing, but some unfortunate news in the NBA. I think this week, like that is the defining, and the trade deadline seems pretty quiet.
There's some rumblings lately though that I think we weren't sure, but it looks like the Lowry rumors are picking up steam. Kyle Lowry.
The fucking Raptors keep sucking dick, but I don't know. We'll see. Let's talk about that a little later.
Did the Raptors get undone by Florida? Is it just another great thing ruined by Florida?
Ruined by Florida, yeah, dude. It's what a shocker that the team playing in fucking one of the teams playing in Florida can't control COVID. The motherfuckers haven't worn masks since March 28th of last year. This was the last time they wore masks in Florida.
The only time they wear a mask is for a fucking sexual fetish in Florida. Yeah. That's it. It's crazy. They took out Al Gore and Kyle Lowry's remaining contract year. That's really incredible.
They really undid fucking Canada, Tampa. But let's talk about that a little later. The thing we should really open with is the injuries, unfortunately, have plagued the NBA this week.
The other king went down.
I think the king of the league, the undisputed.
The other King B, LeBron went down.
So LeBron is out with a high ankle sprain. Thank God it's nothing worse. Thank God it's nothing structural. Yeah. Although high ankle sprains are fucking brutal. And from everything that I've seen, it's kind of tough to get a nailed down number on the amount of time he's going to be out. When he first went down, and he went down against the Hawks this weekend, when he first went down, they said he was out indefinitely, which is a brutal thing to see. But since then, it looks like, from what I can tell, I've seen a couple different people say it's like between 10 and 12 games and about like 3 weeks, a little, 3 weeks, a little over 3 weeks, 22 days, approximately. So that's
Remember Kobe had this and it was like a month, I think. I mean, this could be
high ankle
only
sprains
2
can
weeks.
really, and that's the thing, these can really linger. I think it fucked up Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball got lost like half a season just being in he just wasn't, he didn't, players come back from this and they don't snap all the way back. I mean, it's
Sure.
kind of a shitty,
He's in now a new suitor has entered the conversation with Lonzo, and it's the Atlanta Hawks who want him now.
interesting.
They want him or they want Marcus Smart. That's the word in the street.
I really don't understand. I mean, these cocksuckers fucking tied up their cap on. It's crazy. You'd think they signed a really good point guard in the offseason, and I guess he's really not doing much. That's weird.
Oh, playoff Rondo. Hey, stop us. What part of the year is it?
Yeah, okay, that's what you want. You want to fucking sign a washed up for 2 years?
Oh, wait. No, hold on a second. Is it the regular season or is it the playoffs? My man Rondo
move.
My man Rondo only shows up for the end of the season. He's too smart for the league, dude.
Then who's the other guy they signed? Cam something, the defensive guy. Not Payne, I don't think.
Not Reddish.
No. They signed another guy who hasn't played at all, a defensive point guard. So I guess it makes sense why they want someone. They went 0-2. They went swing and a miss twice with like a defensive-minded point guard. Both were huge flops, and now they're trying to get something else going. But anyway, let's focus a little bit on the Lakers and what this means for a couple different
things. They're in trouble
for the Lakers. So that means if LeBron's going to be out 12 games, right? They lost the game he got injured in Atlanta. And they lost to the Suns, which was the first game without LeBron. And so in this 12-game stretch, here's some of the teams.
Do they have AD for any of this stretch, or do we not know?
Well, that's the thing. According to the last time he was evaluated, AD is supposed to be reevaluated in 3 days on 3/26. But everything I've seen says he's probably going to be out at least the majority of the time LeBron is out. So
wow.
Let's say they don't have LeBron and AD for the next 12 games. Here's some of the teams they're playing. They're playing the Pels, the Sixers, the Bucks, the Clippers, the Heat, the Nets in that and the Knicks, right? So that's the teams that are currently like sniffing the playoffs, right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 teams that are around the playoff picture. And then so that's 7 of those games. And then 4, they're playing the Cavs, Magic, Kings, Raptors. So let's say you catch the Pels have been such an inconsistent team, so you really don't know what the fuck you're going to get. Now, I think that you're going to hate to hear this. I think the Knicks game is pretty winnable because they both play a slow. Like the Lakers, what's good about them is without LeBron, they can play some pretty stout defense, and if they can just kind of slow things down and kind of play.
They just don't have the firepower to stop the Knicks. So without LeBron or AD, I'll give you with one of them, they'll probably win the game, but without either.
It's a fucking winnable game. The Cavs, Magic, Kings. Raptors,
you just love to try to hurt what I love.
I'm just trying to tell you.
You love.
I did you the service.
The reason it's winnable is because the league is fucking rigged.
Okay.
The league is rigged.
Please
I guess you didn't watch the same game I watched the other night, Stavros.
Please stop derailing us finally covering the biggest stories of the NBA with more Knicks talk. Please, I beg you.
We'll put a pin in that and we'll get to the Knicks talk later about the league being rigged.
The point I'm trying to make here is they're playing like 6 very tough games between the Pels and the Knicks, right? If you catch the Pels that's in a great time, they're
Pels who have a worse record than the Knicks.
But the Knicks are much more consistent, right?
Of course. When you have a leader in the engine, that'll happen.
The Pels, when they're at their best, are better than the Knicks. There's no way around that one.
Debatable. It's debatable.
No debate.
Sure, debatable.
Inconsistent. So, but between Sixers, Bucks, Clippers, Heat, Nets, those don't look good. And then Cavs, Magic, Kings, Raptors, you hope they can get those. Although even the Raptors, who knows where you catch them? If they trade Kyle Lowry, but if this is at the end of it, so who knows? So
Norman Powell is about to get paid next year too. So he's putting up numbers.
Powell's had a great year. He's had a great year. So I'm just saying, in those 12 games, what do they go? Fucking 4-8. You know what I mean? Like which is okay. So it's looking bad is the point I'm trying to make. And then, like we said, Anthony Davis is going to be out for the majority of this time, probably. So, and look, I think they can play good defense. This is the time for, this is for THT to fucking show up. This is if Trez is ever going to put up offensive numbers, they fucking need him to. If Marcus,
this is why you sign him.
If Marcus Gasol's been a slight disappointment, if he can fucking put it together and play, 2 weeks of incredible defense, which I think he is capable of, and if the Lakers
can the Lakers sign someone right now?
They can sign someone in the buyout market. We're gonna have to wait till Thursday to be over to see who doesn't get traded. It seems like I've heard people talk about it like I think Brian Wynn. I was listening to who was doing a fucking Worldwide Wob was doing like a Clubhouse. Those Twitter is basically stolen Clubhouse, and they were doing like a late night live podcast, and it was him, it was Bobby Marks, and it was Brian Windhorst, and they were talking as if the Lakers are pretty sure they're going to get Drummond in the buyout market, right? So really, what they need is
I don't get it. I don't get that move.
Well, you don't get that move. I think to me that move means AD is more hurt than they're letting on. That's what it means to me.
Does it also mean though that I figure so Drummond gets bought out? You're saying, but then doesn't he? So he's just going to take shit money this year and then hope he signs a max next year, which we know he won't. But that's what he's looking for.
Yeah, he's trying to go on. He's trying to go. The thinking when LeBron was not hurt, the thinking for Drummond was probably like, let me go win a championship with the Lakers and.
Here's the problem though. Does Drummond even get minutes if we get a healthy AD back? Because Montrez is going to get minutes over him as an offensive weapon, I think.
Well, but that's the idea though. I think that is more of a condemnation of Marc Gasol than Montrezl Harrell, and also Montrezl Harrell when the playoffs come around doesn't really make as much sense anyway. I mean,
but he's off the bench. He's instant offense. That's why you bring him in.
The Clippers couldn't play. Remember what happened last season? The Clippers couldn't fucking play him against the Nuggets. I think a similar thing is going to happen in the playoffs where Trez is going to be sort of played off the floor, where he gets overpowered on defense and on offense. When things tighten up, is he really going to fucking do that well against the league's best centers? No. Whereas Drummond, I don't think
defensively.
Defensively
he is great.
He's bigger, and but that's true. You're right. You're right about him not providing that much offense, which is what this team really needs. So there's been some reporting that they're going to fucking try and do some trades because so let's look at what I just said. So they have 12 games without LeBron and AD. Hopefully they can go fucking 4-8 in them or something. I mean, if they go 500, that's a big win. But then that only leaves when LeBron comes back, if there's no issues, which there almost always are, and the guy is 36 years old. If there's no issues, best case scenario, let's say LeBron and AD come back 12 games after this, that's only 17 games left in the season. I mean, the season is going by fast. So they have to put it together, get their guys back from injury. And here's the thing, that they're probably going to end up at this point, what, a 4 seed is the absolute best case scenario. They probably end up the 5 seed.
Well, I think the Blazers, the Phoenix Suns, the Clippers, the Nuggets. I don't
think the Blazers you can't put the Blazers.
I think the Blazers can keep rising, brother.
No, they just got their ass cheeks absolutely blown out by the fucking Mavs. I think the Blazers being a 5.
After they beat the Mavs, that's the back-to-back type matchups where, they'll take that game. I like the Blazers.
The Blazers, schedule.
They got Brooklyn tonight, though.
The Blazers' schedule is really hard in the second half, and I think I don't.
Yes and no, dude. No, they got the Raptors, the Magic, the Pistons, the Thunder all coming up. They don't have that bad.
After that, it's a brutal. After that, it's a brutal stretch.
The Celtics, who are a trash team, as we both know. The Hornets, who lost LaMelo, probably for the whole year. Prayers up to LaMelo.
The end of their season is fucking brutal. But I think Utah, Phoenix, Clippers, Nuggets, definitely.
The Pacers, the Cavs, the Hawks. I know the Hawks are hot, but these are winnable games to me. I disagree. The Rockets.
Okay, are you what fuck? Hold on, fucking asshole. Look at it. And you know what, guys? If you want to be as fired up as Sam is about the fix being in for the New York Knicks, then what you need to do is go to cushydreams.com and get some of this high quality CBD that gets you going. Because they got a lot of different types, don't they, Sammy? They look, typically we like to smoke the hybrids. They keep you down. Not down, but keep you mellowed out. We like
The way the man keeps us down here in New York.
That's right. That's right.
Rigged.
The way Adam Silver keeps you down, that's how the
Rigged.
strains like Dream and Create and Peace are gonna make you feel. But if you want to be fucking hyped up like Sammy just was with that beautiful fucking rant, then you want to smoke some fucking Hustle. You want to smoke the energy blends. You want to smoke the shit that gets you going. And our friends over at cushydreams.com have the absolute best smokable, high quality CBD products. No THC. Okay. You're not a fucking dope head. You're not a fucking fiend. You're not smoking the kind of stuff that'll get you fired from the Biden administration. I'll tell you that much. No, you're smoking stuff that's legal in all 50 states, ships to all 50 states, lab tested, hand-picked. The absolute highest quality, best shit out there is from our friends at cushydreams.com. And they got plenty of ways for you to fucking smoke it. All right. They got whole gram joints if you want to fucking take one to the face, or you want to pass it around with some pals. You want to sit around, you want to watch the fucking, you want to do some research on which NBA refs used to play for which NBA franchises and decide who rigged it for who. You and your boys want to fucking smoke that whole gram joint, you do that. You want to fucking, you don't want to smoke a pre-roll. You want some flour in a nice vacuum sealed 3.5 gram tin. Beautiful. They got that for your little ass too. And if you're like me, my favorite, the new ultra premium motherfucking hard ass dick line or something like that.
They're little, but they're potent. Kind of like Emmanuel Quickly. They're great.
They got half gram joints, little packs of 5. That's my favorite shit. I love taking a half gram joint right to the fucking Domadel and fucking drinking a Diet Dr. Pepper and having a nice little evening. So if you want to be like me and Sammy, go to fucking cushydreams.com. Smoke their high fucking motherfucking quality CBD, okay? And use promo code PODDON'T. That's PODDONT. PODDON'T for 20% off your next order. Go do it, you little fucking pigs.
I have to get into the Knicks at some point in this podcast.
Okay, but it's not an important story compared to.
It is a very important story, Stavros.
LeBron's injury, it's not important. So the final thing I'd like to say, Mr. fucking just reading off a couple fucking things that I don't know if they're true or not, is according to Tankathon.com, remaining strength of schedule, Portland has the third highest strength of schedule. Their opponents have a 5.25 winning percentage. That's that's third highest. The only teams higher are Houston and San Antonio. So suck my little fucking prick, Sam, and I stand by what I said.
No, I won't. I won't do that. And here's another thing.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
I think they've been unhealthy, and hopefully we get Nurkic back soon. McCollum has looked good. McCollum has looked very good.
Look, the point is the Lakers are probably going to finish 5th at the absolute best. You have to think Utah, Phoenix, and the Clippers and the Nuggets are going to finish above them. And possibly
Clippers with a big comeback last night too.
Comeback thanks to fucking Luke Kennard.
And my man Kawhi.
Luke Kennard and fucking Terrence Mann fucking off the bench. And then yeah, I don't know, man. And then if you're the 5th seed, right? Let's say the Lakers are the 5th seed. That means you have to beat the 4 seed, which is probably going to be, I don't know, Denver probably. Denver or who knows who. I guess theoretically the Clippers, but probably not. So you have to beat the 4 seed, the 1 seed, and then the 2 seed in the Western Conference Finals. So you could be looking at Denver, Jazz, and Clippers, which is a brutal, no easy tune-up playoff series for them.
Yeah.
And, you know, the Blazers right now are 3 games behind the Lakers. The Spurs are 6. The Mavs are 6.5.
And you're telling me the Blazers can't catch up?
I just don't, because of the strength of schedule. I'm
not guaranteeing it, but I'm saying they got a damn good shot.
But you fucking listed them off with Utah, Phoenix, Clippers, and Nuggets, motherfucker. Don't act like I.
Yeah, and
you
teams
did.
that could pass, motherfucker.
Those four will pass the Lakers.
Don't push me when my man Julius is getting done dirty by the whole league.
This is what happens when you make Sam talk 22 minutes about the fix being in for the Knicks. Go ahead, Sam. Get it out of your system.
Okay, let me get it out, brother.
Yeah.
The Knicks have been done wrong by the NBA, Stavros. Okay. Everyone knows this. Everyone in New York, we're the first people to see the light. But, you know, we have not beaten Ben Simmons yet. which makes me so angry. I used to like Ben Simmons because he's obviously a talented young man. He's a great defensive player. I will say this, Philly's defense is outstanding. They are a filthy team, though. The dirtiest team I've ever seen. There was a play earlier in that game when a guy, Bradley, on the Sixers, does a fucking MMA move on Julius Randle. It's a flagrant 2, but they tee up Julius because he was pissed. How do you do that? That 1 point cost us the game, okay? Wow. So
sounds
despicable.
Like what would that be something the 90s Knicks might do, would you say?
The 90s Knicks are just bleeding into this current Knicks culture, and that's because of Tibbs. So
wouldn't you say that Philly did something that, I don't know, maybe Antonio McDyess might have done?
Antonio McDyess barely played for the Knicks.
Not Antonio McDyess.
Oak or Mason?
Yeah, Mason. Yeah, Mace.
You know what? No, because Mason and Oakley had honor. They might have played dirty, but they did the right type of dirty. This is just Phil from Philadelphia. Not to mention the last play. We lost the game in overtime after King Julius hit a step back on Tobias Harris in his fucking eyeball, rattles in. Beautiful play. This ruined the day of mine. I met a woman at a bar. She said, "Oh, can we meet?" And I said, "Fine, but it has to be a place where the Knicks game is on." And I had to be honest, I didn't pay a lot of attention to her because I was so angry. And it was a terrible evening. And
you ruined a date because the Knicks lost to the Sixers.
No, Leon Wood ruined a date of mine. The corrupt referee who, by the way, played for the Sixers. This is a conflict of interest. This guy spent 6 years on the Sixers. How deep does this go, Stavros? This motherfucker had it in for us from the get-go. I saw people saying, "Oh, wow, Doc Rivers, the coach of the Sixers, played for the Knicks." Yeah, he played. He's a coach, motherfucker. He's not deciding the game. This is pure evil by the NBA.
You would say a ref has more decides a game more than a coach does in a typical.
Don't even make me get started here, brother. So the Knicks lose a game on a loose ball foul, which was a questionable call. You have to admit that.
Here's what I'll say about the call. Okay, it was Julius did foul the guy, but it did not really impact the play. And if in an overtime game, it's like a foul away from the ball is kind of a bullshit thing to call. It's kind of like how you could call. I don't know. I wouldn't have called it, honestly. It was.
Thank you. Ridiculous. So can you admit that the fix is in, brother? I mean, between the Nets and the two Sixers games, they don't want the Knicks to make the playoffs because they don't want New Yorkers to be happy.
That's true.
They don't want to have it all.
Hate for the biggest media market in the country to make the playoffs
because they've got the Nets and they're trying to rise up the story of the Nets. I will say a quick shout out to Blake Griffin throwing down a dunk in his first
points with the Nets is a dunk, huge.
Shouts out to Blake, who we love, and man, Brooklyn's fun as hell to watch. I got to give it to him, but the Knicks. What
have you to say about Julius Randle missing 2 potential game-winning shots?
He hit the shot to put it in overtime, dude. He missed a fucking shot at the butt. Yeah, but that was a very the only guy who hits that shot in the NBA is Dame or Steph.
What about the one to win in overtime that he missed?
In overtime, that was the full court. He went the full length of the court. That was a tough one. I mean, look, the guy he got us there. You can't blame the man with the plan, the engine, the king, Julius. I mean, I wish he hit it, but I also think it shouldn't have been a thing. It should have been Julius foul to the line hitting free throws. So no, I disagree with you. Okay. Tobias Harris has an inflated sense of self-worth. He's clearly very angry that he was not an all-star and Julius was. It's eating him alive.
Yes.
And he's never played better. And the referee, Leon Wood, look, I'm glad we did this today and not yesterday. I had much angrier stuff.
So have you looked, has Leon Wood, does he have a history of ruling in the Sixers' favor, would you say?
I haven't researched this, but if I have to go with my gut, I would say based on that game, yes. I think he has.
You think it's a constant source of cheating?
The good news is the Knicks got the Wizards back to back tonight and Thursday. These are winnable games. I know you just got to hope Westbrook doesn't go off because you never know when he's going to. But Beal's going to be a problem. We got Rose back from he had COVID, and my man had all the feels from COVID, dog.
Yeah, he was fucked up off COVID. Which I'm getting my fucking second shot Saturday, baby. You're wait.
Fucking back in the and guess who else is back?
Who's that?
Mitchell motherfucking Robinson.
Yep. That is not. I mean, look, the Knicks are those are tough games to lose. But
we should have had at least one of those games between the two Philly and the Brooklyn games. Thank God for Reggie Bullock stealing the ball.
I think the Philly game. I mean, the Brooklyn game. They showed a lot of heart, but they were losing that game. Let's be honest, most of it.
You're asking me to be honest, or you asking me to be a Knicks fan, brother. You can't have it both ways. You gotta really just soak up the Knicks fan mentality. You can't see the world through it is. You got to see them through an orange and blue colored glasses, and that's how I see the world. I can't wait to get to a game with you. We got to make it happen.
Once we get that second shot, we get a nice game. We're going to the Garden for sure.
We'll both wear King Julius jerseys.
I will not be wearing a King Julius jersey.
You'll think about it. We'll talk about it. Well, off the podcast, I'll try to
come into my mind for 1 second.
It'll okay, fine. We need a side bet. Let's check on the battle for steak rank.
It's not looking great. It's not looking great for your boy. They're not horrible. They're a game and a half behind the Knicks right now, the Bulls. But you have the Wizards coming up. The Bulls have somebody easy tonight. I think the Cavs.
Dude, so April 28th, Bulls Knicks at the Garden. That's a Wednesday.
Shit.
We might have to make that shit happen.
Go, dude. We have to go. All right, that's happening. We're going to the Battle for Steak live and in person. Yes, dude, 100%. We are 100% going. Damn, I have to go. I have to buy a fucking Kobe White jersey.
Fuck that shit, dude. Are you really?
No.
Not even Levine?
No, just something to fucking annoy you. Damn,
I'll be showing up in my Chauncey Billups Knicks jersey.
Yeah, put that on the calendar, baby.
Oh, it's on the calendar, brother.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna make an Eddie Curry Bulls jersey. I'm gonna have it custom made.
Should I wear an Eddie Curry Knicks jersey? Should we
Eddie
just
Curry? Yeah. The Battle of Currys. Anyway, we are 100 doing that. Okay.
Or you could do a Tyson Chandler Bulls jersey, and I'll do a Tyson Chandler Knicks.
Yeah.
Either way.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna wear a Knicks jersey. That's the most disrespectful.
Or we could do Derrick Rose. I mean, there's so many options.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of good options here. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
Glad you got that out of your system, buddy.
Michael Sweetney. So many people to choose from.
I'm glad you got it out of your system. Anyway, so
rigged. Sorry, it's done.
It's done. The last thing I want to talk about the Lakers is maybe they trade somebody. Apparently, they've been shopping KCP and a first-round pick, but I just don't know why you.
He was so good in the finals.
Good, and if you trade him, you have to get somebody better than him, and I don't know who's trading for KCP and a first. And then
he just got paid by them too. It must suck to be a Laker because you're never comfortable. You could overperform and you're still always on the block.
Yeah. I mean, if your stars get hurt, and then the other thing is
but KCP overperformed. He got himself paid because he was so good in the finals.
I think because of that, I also don't see who really wants him and what you could like. It's really hard to get a trade that's like better, like good player for good player. At the trade deadline doesn't usually happen. It's usually like,
but his stock was higher post finals than it is now.
Yeah, and I don't know. I guess I don't know why would they be? I guess unless they're trying to get some kind of like a better point guard. I don't know.
I got Schroeder, whatever.
True. And then the other thing is like Wes Matthews, another bench player in 2 seconds for something that, I don't know. John Hollinger threw out Austin Rivers. Would you trade Austin Rivers for 2 seconds? 2 future seconds, Wes Matthews and somebody else.
Here's the problem with that. I think we can get more because you got to think 2 seconds from the Lakers are going to be like 50s picks.
Yeah. And
I think Austin's got, I'm not saying he's like, we're going to get a fucking high first from him, but we can maybe get a late first from a desperate team.
Well, but the other thing to think about is the Knicks do want to continue to contend, right? Or like for the playoffs. And it's like, and listen, say what you will about Wes Matthews, but like, it's not a zero on the bench. He could give you.
He's not a zero, but he's not better than the shooting guards we have. He's not better than Burks or Bullock. He's just not. They're both good shooters and better.
It's like to play the hot hand, like between like Burks, there could be a night where Matthews. I'm just saying. It's just, I don't know. I would be, the Lakers could use him. Honestly, the Lakers could use Austin Rivers right now when they don't have anyone to run like fucking pick and rolls right now.
No, I like Austin. I think he's a good player.
And cheap contract. It would help their books.
I mean, but that's the other thing. We don't need to trade him right now. We got him 3 years, $9 million. I mean, that's a great contract for a guy.
It's a good contract, and it's going to continue to be a good contract if they want to trade him in the future.
So yeah, I get like you want the bench to be harmonious, but I think he's a good teammate. I don't think he's putting bad vibes out there. But yeah.
Anyway, that's just something to keep an eye out for the Lakers. It would be really funny if they were like somehow fell to the fucking play-in tournament. Imagine being the Utah Jazz and getting the Lakers. You're the number 1 seed, and it's like, oh, congrats, you get to play LeBron and AD. You get to fucking
brutal. That would be perfect too. The team that they just disrespect. Everyone disrespects the Jazz. Poor Utah. I mean, I'll say I love watching Utah. I was just listening to Jordan Clarkson on the Low Post. Seems like a good guy. Having an unbelievable year. Like just. Dude, every time he shoots, you think it's just going in. The guy is fucking. And Joe Ingles, I love. I kind of like. I kind of like Utah.
They are fun to watch, but again,
Donovan Mitchell's great.
They're the fraud. They are frauds according to me because of their whining. Rudy, I don't trust. Is really what it comes down to. The more I think about him, the less I trust him.
Because we've talked about the defensive center and like what an offensive league. Everyone used to say
nothing
defense
about
wins
that.
championships.
It's all about his heart. It's all about his fucking French.
But for me,
his French quitting ethic. Something is whining.
The French are going to ruin COVID again for us because they got that blood clot vaccine, and now none of them want to take it. None of them trust the government.
Wait, really?
Yeah. They have like 37 people got it, which is like not a super high number, but I'm not taking that vaccine. You know, if that's the option. So there's a lot of people that are like, fuck that, we're not taking it. So the French could really fuck us in the future with COVID.
Brutal.
But
I'm trying to go to Greece, and if some fucking dirty French cocksuckers do a COVID outbreak while I'm on an island drinking a nice little fucking tropical drink with an umbrella in it, I'm gonna be pissed off.
It's just Rudy Gobert. He's like,
Rudy Gobert touching all the fucking pina coladas at a
He's like, I heard what you said. I can't do French. You do it. You do the Rudy Gobert.
I heard what you said. I am not causing COVID. I am not a pussy. I do not cry. Anyway, fuck Gobert. But this could break.
But no, my point is just the defense is like no one's stopping Jokic or Embiid if they're on. That's the only point I'm making. Or AD for that matter.
Yeah. The best players can still fuck him in the ass. That's true. So it's bad for it's bad for the Jazz. It might be good for the Clippers or whoever ends up to be the 2 seed if the Lakers are the 5 seed, because then if you're the 2 seed, that other side of the bracket is a fucking bloodbath. You know what I mean? So it's like somebody has an easy route. I mean, I guess the Lakers could end up in the 4 or the 6, but who knows?
4 or 5. Who would they get in the? They could get the Blazers in the 5. They could get.
I think it's gonna because you have to think if they're the 4, like we said, Utah, Phoenix, Clippers, Nuggets. You got to think are going to be the top 4, and Lakers are 5. And I think the 4 or 5 is
Lakers Nuggets.
Yeah,
I mean, they'll beat the Nuggets, but that's a fun series in the first round.
It's a tough one for whoever gets the Lakers. But for Jokic personally, the MVP discussion is looking better for him. Both Embiid and LeBron are hurt.
And you got to put some respect on Lillard's name for this.
Absolutely. Well, that's what I'm saying. If Jokic can get into the top 3 seed, or if Lillard can overtake the Lakers, then it like really adds to their MVP discussion.
Here's why it's going to be Lillard. Legacy and resume. He's been disrespected. It's like when we've talked about this. It's like when the guy gets nominated for an Oscar like 3 times and then he wins it on the 4th time. That's what Lillard has.
That's not that at all. He's never been this level of MVP candidate. You could say
last year they were bad, but last year he was averaging 30 a game stuff.
That's not. I mean, it was Giannis without a question last year. He wasn't even close.
No one's saying it shouldn't have been Giannis. I'm saying, but he's in the conversation so many years that it's kind of, that people. It's like when
snubbed. You could never say Lillard's ever deserved the MVP and hasn't gotten it the way you could about Harden until he got it, right?
That's fair.
Yeah, like Lillard's been sniffing around. No, but I'm with you. I think,
but he's such a fan favorite that I think he's got a better shot than Jokic at this point.
Right. I think if Jokic and somehow gets his team to be a top 2, if he's the number 2 seed in the West, and Embiid kind of falls off, LeBron obviously falls off, and Lillard just kind of stays at the 5 or 6 range. You know, and the other thing is for this, it's got to be tiring for Lillard, man. I mean, he's
exhausted. Brutal. There's no way he's not exhausted. I have a question for you about the trade deadline. Say Philly makes a move for Kyle Lowry and is able to hold on to Simmons, Harris, and obviously Embiid, and they have that 4, are they better than Brooklyn with that 4?
I can't say they're better because for the same reasons that it's like I can't right now crown Brooklyn. It's the thing of like you want to see a team kind of do it for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you want to see them gel. You want to see them see what it looks like on the court. Like I think we can all say the Nets have kind of blown out everyone's expectations, which they shouldn't have because they just had such great superstars. We're all looking like dumbasses. But I think in theory, if that team's been playing together all year, like, yeah, that it lines up better, but I can't say that they're better. I can say
they did have Jimmy. They did have Jimmy in that spot. And, you know, I mean, I guess Lowry makes more sense as like more of a 3-point shooter.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think he's a better 3-point shooter. And damn, they really should have kept Jimmy.
It's truly insane. Here's a follow-up question to the Nets.
They're not. I can't say they're better though. To answer your
question,
say
they meet up in the game 7. Okay, Nets versus Philly. Leon Wood is a referee. Who are you betting on? Who are you betting on with that motherfucker refereeing the game?
Where's it? Where's the game?
Does it matter if that guy's refereeing?
It doesn't matter because also there's no Nets fans. And if they're in Brooklyn, then like plenty of Philly fans will just show up.
Yeah.
That would be so funny if they play Philly in a game 7 in Brooklyn and it's just blue and red.
It's crazy. They have 3 of the best players of our generation and they don't have fans. There are Kyrie, Harden, and Durant fans, but there are no Nets fans. There are no
Brooklyn Nets fans. There's no one who is actually a Brooklyn Nets fan. Doesn't exist. I remember I was on an elevator. I was in where was I? Hell's Kitchen. And I was in like a friend of mine lived in a nice building and I was visiting and it's like, this like family gets all this like dad and his like 2 sons come. This is like when Kyrie had just signed with the Nets and the kid's wearing Kyrie's, right? And it's like, you know, he's obviously like a little kid. Little kids love Kyrie.
He's incredible.
And I think somebody else was wearing like some kind of basketball gear. And I'm just like, you know, trying to make a little small talk on the elevator. I'm like, oh, Kyrie's coming next season. And the dad glares at me. He's like, he's not coming here. The dad was fucking pissed off that I tried to like. I'm just a fucking stranger making small talk. I'm just.
You may as well have been a Jehovah's Witness, motherfucker.
I was like dressed nicely. Yeah. I'm about to hang out with a girl. You know what I mean? Like it's like a Sunday brunch. I'm wearing like a nice button down. I don't look like a fucking asshole. I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to make fucking conversation with his like 5-year-old son. He's like, no. This is a Knicks, and literally he said something like, "This is a Knicks fam." Like he fucking like the fucking venom on this guy's mouth. Like it looked. If I had offered his child a ride in my van, he would have reacted the exact same way as if I said Kyrie is coming here. He was so pissed at me. It was fucking hilarious. So that's what the Nets are up against.
That's why Kyrie and Durant should have come to the Knicks. Imagine how big they would have been.
It would have been crazy.
They would have been so beloved.
Yeah. Anyway, who am I betting on? I'm betting on the fucking dude. It's hard to say. It's hard not to say the Nets in a big game in a game 7.
I know, but if it's a tight game and Embiid goes to the rack and he's not really fouled by DeAndre Jordan, but they're calling it. Leon Wood goes wink, wink, and Embiid goes.
I got you. They just thumbs up on national television. They're not even.
How would they let him cheat that badly? No, seriously. Shouts out to Tibbs for yelling the way he did after that game. I love that he's like there's coaches in the NBA who just kind of sit back and are like, "Wow, we lost." Tibbs has got anger. Like you could tell he's like and Julius cursing in the fucking post game. I loved it, dude. Let the fire out, let it out, young dragon, young king.
Oh, now he's the dragon too.
Young dragon, the engine, King Julius. And you motherfuckers better look out for the Pod Don't Lie merch coming out. Stav and I both have some badass shirts coming out.
Great merch coming. Great merch. We need to make a fucking King Julius the Dragon Engine merch. We need to make a shirt where he's a dragon with a crown on that's half of a fucking train. Okay. So the other thing we should talk about is LaMelo's injury. Unfortunately, brutal. Broke his thumb. It looks like he's out for the rest of the season. Sucks. He was so fucking good. He was so fun to watch. The Hornets were becoming like the fucking go-to, just fucking throw this team on League Pass. They're so, the alley-oop.
Hayward, I hate to give it to Hayward, but man, he's playing great basketball.
Hayward,
too.
Scary Terry were playing fucking great. You have LaMelo and what's his face, Bridges. They were just a fucking awesome combination together.
And they got Devontae Graham, who's taking a step back because I guess but he's a talented young guy.
Well, that's what I was gonna say for Charlotte. The important thing to do here is not do anything fucking dumb, right? Because like they currently, I believe they're above
six, I think.
So don't chase
PJ Washington.
Don't chase this right now. Like you have Monk, you have Scary Terry, you have Devontae Graham that can play a little more guard. It hurts their ability to play small ball because LaMelo was your point guard, but he's also 6'8" and he's a great rebounder. But don't do anything fucking crazy. Don't mortgage the future to make the fucking 6th seed this year. The question I have is LaMelo definitely going to be rookie of the year?
I say yes, based on how much it wasn't a small enough sample size. I say yes, but it depends on what Edwards does the second half. It depends on what Emmanuel Quickly does, what Halliburton does. There's still guys.
It's Edwards. Let's be honest.
You want to be honest, brother? Emmanuel Quickly has got the guts it takes to turn it on in the second half. So don't sleep on my man.
So let's look at the one thing that came to mind immediately for me was Embiid, right? Remember when Embiid and Brogdon in 2017, where it was like
and Dario Saric.
Yeah, Saric too, but it was really Embiid and Brogdon. But Embiid only played 31 games of an 82-game season. His fucking stats were awesome, though. I mean, 20 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 0.9 steals, 2.5 blocks on 46% shooting and 36 from 3. Crazy.
Brogdon, and his personality, no disrespect to Brogdon, but Embiid's personality it's showtime. It's
and not only that, but it was like we had been hearing about the process forever, and it's like, is this ever gonna work? And then Embiid comes out and he's he's this, and you're like, oh my god, they were fucking right. And then Brogdon, who played 75 games, had 10 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 45% from the field, 40 from 3. Not bad numbers, but come on, compared to Embiid. Now, the problem was that was 82 games. Embiid only played 31. LaMelo has 41 games of a 72-game season. He's got 16, 6, and 6, 1.5 steals, 45% from the field, or from the field, 37.5 from 3. Edwards, on the other hand, 43. Right now, it's LaMelo's for sure. Edwards has 16. 2.5 assists, less rebounds, 4 rebounds, 1 steal. And where really he's way less efficient. He's taking a lot more shots. He's 38%, even though he has around the same points.
Which is also, I'm not too worried about him. As a rookie, I think your shot selection is often not very good. He's on a bad team. He's shown flashes, and I know like people get seduced by dunks like we all do, but it's not just the dunks. It's his strength as a rookie. Like he overpowers dude with these dunks. He clearly, I know Wade gave him that big nod, which I'm sure meant a lot to him, but like clearly he wants to be that type of dunker. The way Wade threw down dunks was like fucking disrespectful.
Yeah, Edwards is a top athlete in the NBA. Like that's not an easy thing to do. The one thing I will say that makes it a little interesting is that Edwards, since the All-Star game, has been crazy. Like since the All-Star game, he's had 25.5 points, 3 assists, 6 rebounds on 43% shooting, 37 from 3. So if you get that guy for the rest of the season, then it becomes a little more interesting.
Yeah, well, then it's his.
But
and D'Angelo Russell's also not playing for them. It's just a mess. That franchise is just a fucking mess. And that's why I tell young Karl-Anthony Towns, get out, play alongside some real big men like King Julius.
Come home.
And the Julius
with Tibbs, who you loved so much.
he wasn't ready for Tibbs. It takes an engine and a young dragon to really embrace the mind.
He's the same guy, if anyone's confused at home.
The king, young dragon, engine, Julius Randle. And I just think that, man, Karl-Anthony Towns is one of the ultimate what could have been. Because, like, his first 2 years, like,
it's not over.
It's not over because he's great. But I'm just saying, like, his whole first, like, 5 whatever years. I mean, I remember when Porzingis and Towns got drafted, people were like, these are the 2 big men for the next, like, 10 to 15 years. And I believed it. I really did.
Yeah.
And they're both still great big men. There's no denying that. But Towns, I think there was a poll when people said if you could start your franchise with any player, and Towns was the consensus. It was like he was
the number one. This is before Giannis was even near what he was. Like,
sure,
Giannis was like an intriguing, like, fucking guy coming up.
But Towns offensively, it's like it's kind of his defense and just that he hasn't really had the weapons around him. Offensively, you watch him and you're like, this dude's jump shot is stupid. He's tough taking it to the rack. He is undeniably an offensive juggernaut. It's just the defense and that he's just in shitty situations seemingly always.
Yeah, no, for sure. The fuck was I just gonna say? God damn it, I forgot. But I mean, there's a lot going on with Towns where it's like, that you got to give that franchise one more year, I think, to figure it out. I mean, they have what's his face? That coach seems to be doing a little bit of a better job, and they have not really played with, whatever you want to say about D'Lo, they haven't been healthy.
He hasn't been there, but I just think like
still a log jam with Rubio. I mean, Rubio's there. It's just it's fucking weird. But
you don't draft LaMelo because of D'Angelo, I'm guessing.
Huge franchise mistake. Yeah,
that would have been enough to be like, hey, Carl, we're doing the right thing.
Totally. And they would have been so good. And anyway, I think we already talked about it.
Man, poor Minnesota, because I don't know a ton of T-Wolves fans, but the ones I know are so hardcore.
Yeah. They're fucked. It seems like, certainly to me. Anyway, anything else to fucking talk about? I mean, do you have any more rumors, any more words on the street as we head into this?
There's always words in the street, brother. There's some murmurs. I mean, as I said with the Hawks, Bulls are listening, according to Real GM, to trade offers on Lauri Markkanen. Celtics are considered front runners to trade for Aaron Gordon. Nuggets are in the mix. I don't know how this really helps the Celtics getting Aaron Gordon.
I think the way I mean, I guess what are they giving up? Are they taking him into the trade exception? Is that what the
Well, I think that's the luxury they have right now is that trade exception.
If you take him into the trade exception, it kind of just gives you the opportunity to be just super switchable, and you have
2 first rounders for Gordon.
He's not a great shooter, right? He's like what, like 36, 37, something like that.
He's gotten better, but yeah, it's not. I mean,
I guess the thought process there is,
dude, he's 40% from 3 this year.
Well, I mean, if he's shooting 40% from 3 and he's a big body, and it's the kind of thing where it's like it gives you flexibility with your lineups where you want to play super small with him at the 5, or you want to have him and I don't know, Tice or fucking you want to have him at the 4, and then you have those 3 wings plus Marcus Smart plus Kemba. I mean,
they want Marcus Smart. That's who the Magic want.
I don't.
Yeah, but they also would include Evan Fournier.
It's not worth. I wouldn't do that. Marcus Smart has been so clearly so important to that team.
Culture.
But if you can just take him in the trade exception and trade him for 2 firsts, a stretch 4, a guy who plays 4 can play some very small ball 5 when you want to.
I don't know about him at the 5, but he's 6'9", I guess. Yeah, he's 6'9". But listen to this. I didn't pay attention to this against the Nets, but dude, he was 7 of 8 for 3, 38 points. I mean, that's fucking.
So I don't know. I mean, it's and defensively, you think if you put a team that's like him locked in, Marcus Smart and Tatum and Brown, that's 4 theoretically very good defenders. Now, if you have Kemba, that becomes different. But if it just gives you different looks. It gives you if you can add a player of his caliber for nothing into that trade exception, Again, they probably should have fucking. I think they're still looking stupid. I mean, how bad has fucking Tristan Thompson looked this year?
Awful. Falling off a cliff. Here's a question. Do you think the Celtics are 8 wins better if they retain Gordon Hayward?
For sure.
It's so weird that like they were using him as like a 4th option. This dude came from Utah where he was the guy. Yeah. He's expecting to be the number 2 guy because they had Kyrie when he signs.
If they traded for Miles fucking
Turner.
I always want to say the actor's name.
Teller.
Miles. I always want to say Miles Teller, even though I think that guy's face is annoying, but love Whiplash.
Whiplash is so good, dude.
Great movie. But Miles Turner, I think if they had traded for Miles Turner and then maybe used the money they used on Thompson for some guard or wing depth in free agency, they'd be a lot better off. But anyway, that's neither here nor there at this point. Fuck the Celtics, and
fuck them for sure. But I just I love that the Knicks are better than the Celtics. I love that.
I believe they're tied right now.
Are they? But I think the Knicks are a better team.
21 and 22. They're both 21 and 22.
But I think we're better.
I also want to shout out to the Bucks, who are on a 7-game win streak.
Shout out to the Bucks.
Tucker has looked good in his limited time with them, although he had like an injury scare. But
Knicks are ahead of the Celtics in the standings because we fucking clapped their asses.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. Giannis is playing fucking incredible, by the way. Not that anyone really is ever going to give a fuck because they're not going to give him 3 MVPs. But in terms of the real MVP discussion, he's up there, baby.
His numbers are stupid, and the averaging 29 is hilarious. That he just does that much on defense, gets boards, and he's that good a scorer. You got to give it up to Giannis.
And
sure.
The Bucks.
Even though you don't give Julius Randle his due, I'll give your boy Giannis his.
Thank you. Absolutely, which I think makes sense.
Giannis is not an engine or a king or a young dragon, but he is an excellent player.
Way more of an engine. He's not a young dragon because he's a fucking old 2-time MVP dragon.
Same age as Julius.
Same age, but with wisdom, much older. But anyway, they're playing out of their fucking minds. And the Bucks optimist in me is saying like maybe they needed to look kind of shitty in the regular season. They were the kind of team that cruised, had no problems in the regular season, so that when problems happened in the postseason, they didn't know how to handle them. Maybe a little adversity is good for this team. Maybe it's good for Giannis specifically to have to be punched in the mouth and have to come back. And, again, PJ Tucker, he's looked pretty good. I mean, again, we don't know what we're going to get from him, but to turn bullshit into even a semi-serviceable player was actually a nice little stroke of genius there by the
Has he played yet, Tucker?
Played, yeah. And I think we talked about it.
Yeah, I just looked at he 0 points in 2 games, but he's there to be a body. He looks like good on D, you mean?
Yeah, good on D, some nice screens. He's just, he'll find his way.
I am a PJ fan.
Yeah, no, PJ fucking rules. Anyway, so what the fuck? So anyway, Bucks 7 in a row, and I'm a little hopeful. And the other thing to say is Harden also is, if we're talking MVPs overall, Harden also.
I mentioned him before, and you gave me shit for it.
I poo-pooed you, but it's the same way now with LeBron down. He enters that like, just that morass. I would say him and Giannis are in a similar position where it's like their numbers warrant it, but no one is ever going to give it to them. Giannis, because he's won 2 in a row without winning.
Well, your reasoning for him destroying one franchise.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he'd be most valuable for the Nets, not the Rockets.
I'm just saying, bro, it's for narrative reasons. Him and Giannis are sort of de facto eliminated, but they deserve to be in the discussion.
Always.
And they might get some, 4th, 5th place votes here and there. Who knows? Anyway, so we didn't talk too much about trade deadline stuff. I'm sure some stuff will come up. One minor move that's happened, and we're recording this. It's is it Tuesday today? Oh, fuck it.
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday at 12:50. So if something happens, suck our dick. Sorry, we didn't get to it.
Who knows? Maybe you'll get an emergency pod if something crazy happens.
Something truly crazy happens. But the very minor move is like the Clippers traded what's that guy named Capingele? He's got a great name, but I don't think he's ever played for them. They traded him to, I want to say, the Kings. Basically, they were just trying to get off some fucking luxury. They were just trying to get some room under the cap and shit. So nothing is really super has happened. Hopefully, something fun happens, and a Lowry deal would be fun.
Sixers, Lakers, Clippers have all expressed interest in your boy George Hill.
I'm telling you, he'd be great. The next episode, go to patreon.com/pod don't lie. We will have our trade deadline recap episode up probably on Friday of this week. And if you want double the NBA coverage, go to patreon.com/pod don't lie. We are always putting out an extra ep, $5 a month. Anyway.
And it's worth it, man. We're giving you a lot of eps.
We're giving you a lot of really good motherfucking shit.